Hello everyone, this is AL Thick Madame, and you know why I'm here. So, the episode started off with Gladys Knight, Kelly Rowland. She was singing Friendship Train, and, she was actually on American Bandstand doing this. Y'all remember the conversation she had before with Don Cornelius that, in a few years, maybe they can, discuss again her coming on his show when we actually see some fruits of the labor, that had been produced. But as of right now, she's going where she knows that she will actually be seen, where she just sees a powerhouse already with that show, which I get. But at the same time, I thought that she would have been like, okay, let me just stick with American Bandstand. Let me just stick with Don Cornelius' Soul Train. But yeah, she performed on there, and this guy named Tyrone Taylor, he introduced her on Dick Clark, his show, American Bandstand. So anyway, Brienne and her daughter Simone are out and about, and you could tell that they just came from somewhere where her mom got a new dress. And so they're discussing it, and then she's immediately kind of like, maybe I should take it back because it's a red dress. And so Simone's trying to tell her that the dress is everything. And, just in case y'all didn't know, back in the day, and even some people nowadays still believe this, they thought that women who wore red dresses were heifers, hussies. You're a hussy if you wear this. You might be bordering on sluttish behavior. You're a harlot. And all of that, if you wore anything that was red, as far as the dress was concerned, lipstick, nail polish, all of that. And when I was growing up, I didn't really see too many people around me wearing red dresses. It might have some red in it, but I never really saw anybody wear red dresses. Never really saw anybody wearing, like, for real red nail polish, except, like, maybe one or two of my lighter-skinned cousins that, they kind of had rebellious types of personalities anyway, so they didn't really care about that. And, as far as the nail polish as well, like I said, the nail polish or the lipstick. I always saw burgundy. I always saw certain shades of brown, which those colors look good on me, but I never really saw the bright reds, whether it went, well with your skin tone or not. There are always shades that can go with your skin tone where it doesn't look clownish. But yeah, so when she said that, I was like, oh, you really could tell that this is an older type of feel. Anyway, because back in the day, they didn't like to see women wear stuff like that, or you were automatically assumed to be some sort of a hussy. So yeah. Anyway, y'all, so anyway, they're in the middle of their girl time, and JT's mama rolled up and was like, hey, because she recognized her. And so, her mama was automatically like, okay, who is this? And so she was like, oh, this is, JT's mama. And she went from saying hello to where you at though, because he need to give me my medicine. And even her mama could figure out what in the world medicine meant. And so it just got to the point where her mom was like, yeah, go to the car. We finna go to the car. And so she was like, you think you better than me? She done went all the way off. She having a moment, which a lot of people who are drug addicts do when they haven't had their medicine. And I was just like, Lord have mercy, it needs to stop. Y'all, so anyway, Flo and Kendall, Kendall is Simone's brother, Brienne's son, they're at his house. And so it is apparent that he has returned from the bus tour, the Soul Train bus tour, and the guy hasn't left. What's his name? Sergeant Barker? He hasn't left. Okay, so he is keeping true to his promise, which is, if he's not gone by the time I come back, I'm leaving. So he is packing up some stuff. And so she's looking at different records that he has on display. And I thought it was kind of cute where apparently he has a side where his music was. And so she was like, I thought you said all your stuff was on this side. And so she pulled out this one record. I think it was Johnny Denver. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I might have said that wrong. But anyway, correct me down in the comments of whoever it was. But it's a song, it's not the type of song that Soul Train would play and all that stuff. But yeah, I was here for it though. Flo could sing a little bit. And so he was like, where'd that voice come from? And she was like, a lot of things you don't know about me. I can sing, but you know, she's trying to have her one-way ticket to fame being dance. So anyway, you know, like I said, he's moving out because the guy's still there. And it got to the point where he was about to leave and then the phone rang. And so he answered the phone and there was this guy calling from this place and was looking for Encore, which is the group that he, his sister, and JT are in, and wanted to know if they were still interested in cutting a record because they have something going on right now where you can get half off. And so his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. So I was like, oh my gosh, Lord have mercy. So anyway, so then Don is talking to Gerald. You know, they be having their little moments where they talking, drinking, and whatever. And so, you know, he was like, yeah, I'm about to meet up with somebody. So he met up with this dude named Comrade. And we'll, you know, talk about him a little later. So anyway, Tess, she is at this place where she's trying to become a part of this troupe, this dance troupe. And she has to audition and, you know, only a select few people will make it into this troupe. Well, she runs into someone who she used to know when she was in Germany, and she used to dance in Germany and all this other stuff. Y'all, I was like, okay, this finna be too much. I don't know what it is, but it's finna be some foolishness. Okay, cool, right? So she ended up talking to her, and she was like, oh, so are you here with... You have a child here or something? And so she was like, no, not exactly. So the woman, Evelyn, goes on to command the attention of everyone in the room and basically announces that she is the instructor. And so Tess is immediately kind of like taken aback and kind of feel like kind of small in that moment, because here she is like in her mid to late 30s, possibly early 40s, and she's trying to relive, so to speak, a dream that she had when she was growing up that she never fulfilled. So, y'all, I was just like, Lord, I would have been doing the most myself. But yeah, she just thought, Tess, you know, when she saw her, she was like, you know, here's a friendly face, and now I don't feel alone because there's somebody else around my age, you know, auditioning too. But so I was just like, Lord. Anyway, so like I said earlier, Don met up with this dude named Comrade. He ended up meeting up with him, and he was saying to him that, you know, he needed to get some things going, you know, still pick up some more steam with his show. So Comrade was like, you know, I'm good at that. That's what I do. So you know what you're going to need. You're going to need some protesters. You're going to need, you know, all this other stuff. And, you know, he was saying, you know, what can happen is they can somehow get some sponsors to drop out from, you know, Dick Clark's camp, so to speak, the people who sponsor his show, so that the focus can now be back even more so on Soul Train, especially when it's geared toward the Black audience and the Black artists that have been appearing on both shows. So it was crazy. So anyway, Tess was auditioning. They kept showing her audition. She kept up just fine the first time. Cool. So anyway, Simone and her mother get home, and they walking in the door arguing. And I was just like, Lord have mercy. So her mama was like, you know, can't be hanging around him and that type of crowd and all this other stuff. And then it just got so bad that I was about to say Tess, that Simone straight up told her mama, I hate you. And then went to her room, and she was like, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm not going with you to, I think, what, Philly or somewhere, Philadelphia. And I was just like, Lord have mercy. So the dress that her mama bought, it was supposed to be for her to wear to her brother's going away party. I think her brother is selling his business, and he and his wife are going to just kind of travel the world, so to speak. So She was in her feelings. And so y'all, Lieutenant or Sergeant Barker, or whatever it is, he was around the corner. He was like, well, I'll go with you. You know, I can drive. I'll drive you there. I'll help you and all this other stuff. And so she was like, oh, yeah, you don't have to do that. And so he was like, oh, no, but I want to. So I'm like, Lord, it's finna be some foolishness. It's finna go down the wrong way. Y'all, so anyway, Tess is still auditioning. And while they were in the middle of things, her child runs into the room, followed by her husband. Now, I'm trying to figure out why Tess is looking kind of, well, not really. In a way, I felt that Tess was looking at her in an envious way because she saw the child that her husband wants and that she, you know, one day wants as well, from what I can gather. But I'm gonna get to it, y'all. I'm gonna get to it. So anyway, they came in, and so she was like, y'all, let me introduce, this is my son, this is my husband. The husband, his name is Prescott Mayer, right? Introduced him, and then she was like, honey, I'll be with you shortly. I gotta show them this last thing. So it was an auditioning piece. Y'all, tell me why she was like, look, I'm about to show y'all this piece, and I'm only doing it one time or whatever. So everybody starts doing it, you know, as she's doing it. And then Tess starts to just stop. And I was just like, I know you could keep up, so what's the problem? Y'all, Tess walked off. And Prescott gonna try to stop her. And so she was like, why? Why I need to go back? Apparently this heifer stole the routine she was showing them and him. He was her fiance. That was her fiance at one point in time. Like, come on now. And the woman, Evelyn, used to be her best friend, y'all. I was so tired in my spirit. So anyway, I'm gonna get down to the rest of that nitty gritty in a few minutes. So anyway, JT is at work. And so the little ruffians come in. I think his name is Reggie and all the other stuff. Y'all, I'm sorry. I don't know why this thing is going blurry, but anyway. But they come into the restaurant, and so JT ends up going like behind the register or in the register and pulls his gun out and put it in his little pocket or his smock. So they go and sit back into some random area and they start like mean mugging him from across the room. And I'm just like, if you don't get somewhere to sit down, like I cannot do it. He one of them ones that you need to shoot him in the kneecap one time, be like, leave me alone before I really have to do some damage. Like, he be doing the most, y'all. I'm so tired. So anyway, Don met up with this woman from the bank. And because he is Don Cornelius, he was able to get the woman to come to him and bring all the money that he had in his account, which was almost nothing, y'all, apparently. And so he was like, where's the rest? And she was like, I got everything that I could get out of there. But if you want me to, with the proper authorization, I could get some money out of your wife's account. He was like, my wife's account. So apparently he didn't know his wife had her own separate account. Hallelujah. I'm glad she got some sense on that front. So she has her own bank account. And so he was like, no, that's all right. Whatever. Y'all, so he's in the middle of talking to this woman, and then Gerald walks in. He done bust in. Gerald don't care. He's gonna walk in the door to us, Negro out of his mind. I said, what? And so he's just going off. I'm just like, Lord. So anyway, Conrad is on TV and he has the protesters, and Gerald is in his feelings because he wanted to be able to kind of, well, he, you know, like I said before, he has his moments where he's having these meetings and his little time with Don, and he discusses things with Don. And Don discusses things with him, so he told him about the situation, and so he kind of feels like the guy is taking over everything, and he's getting all the shine and all this other stuff. Y'all, anyway, so JT ended up sitting down and talking with Reggie. And so he told him, like, look, I ain't no snitch. And I was like, Lord, y'all doing the most. So anyway, the dude was like, look, you're going to have to prove your worth. And so he was like, what you talking about? He was like, it don't matter what you say. You got to prove your worth out here in these streets. So he ended up basically saying, yeah, I'll do, you know, whatever the next little ignorant thing that's finna pop off. JT ain't gonna rest till he in jail or get killed fooling with this dummy. So anyway, Kendall walks in and he sees this because, you know, he's about to roll up on him about the call that he got about Encore. So anyway, Tess got home and her man, he actually was pumping iron. I was like, yes, Patrick, you better do that. Because, you know, the detectives and things, they need to keep up with what, you know, is going on with the physical side of that. You know, a lot of these people become detective or lead detective or whatever. Like, he is trying to get lieutenant. But, yeah, some of these people fall off because they are doing whatever. And I'm like, just because you ain't out there all day, every day, and you're, you know, kind of giving out the orders, that don't mean you don't need to keep up with that physical part of all that. So anyway, he pumping iron, and so he could tell that she was mad. So she rummaging through the little cupboards and things and the cabinet doors looking for some mustard. And so, you know, he was like, you know, what's wrong? And so she tried to say nothing at first. So then it got to the point where she told him what was going on. And of course, since they are married, y'all, I ain't never heard nobody say my husband, my wife. So this episode, really did confirm they are indeed married. They've been married for like 4 years, I guess, maybe. So anyway, told him everything that went on and how she felt. And, you know, he just said to her, like, look, you know, I just feel like you never let me get into your personal space, and they're together. And all he wants to do is be there for her, but he feels like she doesn't let him do that. So I agree. I feel like that is very true. So, yeah. Okay, y'all. So Kendall ended up going back in the back to find JT, who is outside taking a smoke break. And so, you know, of course he asked him about the money and told him the situation that the people called and all the other stuff. He was like, I got the money. It's all there. He went and pulled it out of his little ankle thing. It's a little money clip thing that you can have on your ankle. So that's where he came and got the money from. So Kendall took it upon himself in that moment to say, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what you're doing with Reggie and them, but it needs to stop. Especially if you plan on staying with my sister, and he ain't got time for his sister to get caught up and stuff like that, which I fully understand. So anyway, moving right along, Conrad is trying to explain that everything is on course with the protest, and the protest is actually actively still happening. So Dawn was outside with him when he discussed that. So then Dawn went to a payphone, tried to call his wife. She wouldn't answer the phone on purpose. Y'all know. She tired. She mad. So he ended up then calling Gerald and told him that he wanted him to shake some things up with the protest. So, you know, that wasn't nothing but a thing to him. He ain't said nothing but a word when he called Gerald with that. Gerald was so happy. So anyway, Don Cornelius ended up meeting up with Gladys Knight. And so he was talking to her, and he basically was like, you know, you need to use your voice for our people. You know, all that good stuff. Which I agree. I get both sides. So after, when we first saw the episode, Tyrone Taylor introduced Gladys Knight on American Bandstand. He was there at Soul Train getting ready. And so he ended up meeting Don Cornelius. He was so happy. Like, he is such a super fan of his, and he feels like he led the way for people like him. So he was like so excited to meet him. I was like, oh, so cute. That is so sweet. And, you know, Don is, you know, he kind of is glad the guy is there, but he kind of did this nonchalant kind of whatever type of that's the kind of feel I got from him. I ain't like that. I ain't like how he treated him like that. So anyway, Prescott, y'all. Prescott got some kind of balls on him. Prescott just set it all the way off and popped up at Tess' house. So Tess opened the door, and she was just looking like... So anyway, he ended up coming in. He made small talk, and then he ended up, talking about them and how things ended and all the other stuff. Like, Evelyn used to be her best friend. I forgot if I mentioned that or not. But like I said before, that's her now ex-fiance. Y'all, she asked him how old was Axel. Axel is their son. And so when he told her, and so she was like, oh, so that means she was pregnant while you and I were still together. Like, it ain't make no sense, y'all. Like, he had been cheating and doing the most. And so, you know, you could tell he was in his feelings and he knew he was wrong. Anyway, so kind of trying to make right a wrong or right. Y'all, I can't even think of how to say it right now. make wrongs right again in some way. He was like, look, I talked to the advisory board and they're going to allow you to come back and do the final audition and all the other stuff. Y'all, so of course I'm looking like, dang, what Patrick at? Patrick need to bust up and see this. Y'all, Patrick bust in. And so he was like, what's going on here? Y'all, so anyway, you know, he ended up leaving. And so Patrick, you know, of course, was in his feelings. And he was like, you ain't got to tell, I know who that is. You know, whatever. So I was like, Lord. So, you know, like I said, he's still on board with her. He just wants her to open up and allow him into her space. Dawn met up one-on-one with Dick Clark. Well, so to speak. And they discussed a deal. And, you know, he wanted him to stop taking black artists. Y'all, they ended up doing this, still doing the protest. Y'all, a fight broke out. And so Don Cornelius at first didn't realize what was going on. He just sat up there, punched a few people as well, knocked them out. Then Gerald standing in there in the back, looking like, yeah. I'm like, Lord. Then it dawned on him like, oh, this is why, because Gerald did this. He set this up. I asked him to shake things up, and this was his version of shaking it up. Cool, whatever. So Brienne's brother, like I said earlier, he was having this going away party. Apparently he had a club or something, like a really famous club where all kinds of amazing, well-known black artists came through, performed. He took pictures of them while they were performing or whatever. It was amazing. JT came home and a random dude was in there taking care of his little sister. JT had to set it off like, man, get out of here. Took his little sister away. He kind of checked her and all that stuff. See, that's how I know he's a good brother. He is really a good brother, and that's what I'm talking about. He checked his little sister, like, let me make sure, you know, her clothes ain't undone. Like, he was, like, checking her like a parent should. His mama laid up over there, I guess, coming down off of her high. And, you know, he went off on her, was like, why you got this random dude watching her? And all that, you know, she didn't want to hear it. She was like, well, I gotta have somebody to watch her. And so she ended up with like, yeah, but anyway, give me another hit of that. Go ahead, hit me off. I was just like, that's all you think about. Like, I hate addiction. Like, I understand that I have a food addiction. Like, that really is a real thing for anybody who wants to laugh and joke. So, all you gotta do is put down the burger and fries. That's really not how it goes. It's not as simple as that seems. But I really hate when people have drug addictions like this to where they are more in love with anything surrounding the drugs, the alcohol, all that stuff. But yeah, after he did what he did for her, he, you know, picked up his guitar and he played this song, and it was a song that you could tell was about his parents and kind of being dealt a bad hand. It was a sad song, but it was so beautiful, y'all. Oh my gosh. I hope that's available to purchase because that song is everything. Brienne brother, like I said, had a whole lot of people that were famous come through. It had all these pictures on the wall. And one of the pictures that were up there was of her singing. And so the dude, why can't I think of his name? The man living with her. What's his name? Sergeant. Forgot what his name is. That quick. But anyway, he was like, "Oh, I see you. Why? I didn't know you would sing." And she was like, "I don't." Y'all, it just got so bad that she had a random flashback, and she ended up snatching the picture off the wall. And he went after her to figure out where she was going. She was out back breaking the picture up, broke all the glass. She done bashed it beyond recognition, and then she ended up kind of cutting her finger. And so she basically was like, she's done like living for everybody else, and she's never done the things that she wanted to do. She put all of her dreams on the back burner and all that. And I was just like, Lord. So anyway, I mean, it was really so bad that she really was like singing was her everything. And like, she just did everything and everybody else came first. And I always think that's sad. So Tess is at this audition. She's early and she's stretching. So Evelyn comes in and she starts stretching with her, and there's awkward silence at first. And then Evelyn was like, so I guess Prescott came and talked to you. How was the conversation with Prescott? And I was like, girl, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. So they had their little moment where they hashed it out. Simone is stressing out at the little place where they were supposed to cut a record. And y'all, the Commodores were in there recording right before they came in. So the dude, the engineer, come out, he was like, yeah, that was just so amazing, you know, hyping them up and all that. And the dude, you could tell, the dude who was playing Lionel Richie, he said something to them, and Kendall set it all the way off, and he said, they're so amazing and all that. I was like, yeah, y'all better do that. Y'all better have the Commodores. So anyway, they ended up doing that, and like I said, Simone was very nervous and upset because JT hadn't shown up. And so the engineer was like, yeah, so what you gonna do is give me this money, and, you know, y'all do what y'all do, but y'all on the clock. So, you know, Kendall is very optimistic, and he was like, he'll be here. So they went on about their business. JT is sitting in this building with his mother, and it appears to be a doctor's office at first glance. And so I'm like, are you really taking your mama to a doctor's office to make it seem like she's hurt and she needs medication? Because that's the way they tried to make it seem. So then they ended up seeing her, and he was like, yeah, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. They end up, you know, asking if she is who they said she is. And she was like, yeah. The doctor starts walking her back. Y'all, turned out to be a psychiatric mental facility. I was like, oh my gosh. When I tell you I was so happy, when she realized what it was, they already had her. It was too late. He committed her, and I was so here for it. I was like, hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. So anyway, Tess ended up doing her final audition. Her husband showed up. I thought that was so cute. Because at first, she had submitted this tape that she wanted to, the music that she wanted to play by tape. And she said she missed her cue, could you start back over, y'all. So anyway, before she even started dancing, she said, y'all, I want to do something different. And so one of the judges tried to tell her, like, you can't do anything different because everyone has been given a piece to do, and you have to do the piece. And so Prescott set it off and was like, well, you know, actually the piece that was done is actually an original, which she created. So hopefully y'all can be lenient in this matter and just allow her to do what she's gonna do. So they was like, yeah, all right then. So she set it off. I was here all the way for it. So yeah. She ended up getting home later, and she talked to her husband, and he wanted to know, you know, how you felt about all that. And, you know, it's weird. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this was a very, very serious moment where she was like, you know, that night in Germany when everything happened and changed her life for the worst, so to speak. She walked in, she saw her best friend having sex with her then fiance, but she was actually coming home to tell Prescott that she was pregnant. So when she saw that, she politely went and got an abortion, and that was the end of that. So her husband never even knew this information. So I was like, wow. She aborted that baby and never told anybody until that moment, y'all. So the end of the episode happened, and they ended up getting a lot of donations in favor of Soul Train due to the press that the protests had gotten. And he ended up telling Gerald, like, you can't pull stunts like this anymore. And so he was like, look, what you wanted done happened, so I don't know why you trying to act like you got a problem with it. You know, Gerald ain't got time for it. He ain't here for that. He ain't trying to hear what he talking about. He ended up trying to call his wife again, and again, it went to voicemail. So he left her a message, and he was talking about, yeah, our anniversary is coming up, and apparently they had something planned that they'd done before, but it's kind of like something that they do that's their thing. And so he was like, well, I'm hoping that we can do that, and I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna come home, and hopefully you'll be there, you'll show up to wherever the place was gonna be, and all that good stuff, y'all. I was just like, Lord. He was talking about that he believes that like I said, she'll be there, and whatever. So apparently, I don't know if somebody put something in his drink or if he was overdosing on the booger sugar, but he all of a sudden collapses face forward and is just there. So we have to wait till next time to see what happens. But anyway, y'all, hopefully you enjoyed this review, even though I know I was sounding crazy. I had a few moments where I did have to clear my throat, and I apologize for that, but I really cannot help it. Some raspiness is trying to come out, but I'm going to get back to drinking what I was drinking, so hopefully that'll go away within a few days. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like it if you want to. You can subscribe if you want to. Do what you want to do. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. I don't know why I said that. That was so random. But anyway, I hope y'all having a wonderful weekend. I'm going to try to come back and do one more video that I have been wanting to do way before this current situation just happened. And this would have just been an addition to, because of what happened. But anyway, I'm going to try to do it today. Hopefully I will be able to get around to that. So anyway, y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all on the next video. Bye.